Hi everyone, welcome back to the Life's Good. Just looking at these Livingston daisies. I had a few left over in the greenhouse and I popped them in this pot. They're absolutely gorgeous. Look at those colours. Aren't they fabulous? And they follow the sun, they come out in the morning, they close up at night. An amazing little flower. Well, we're not making wine today. We're out in the garden and I've got a few things to do, so I'll take you along for that. I've spotted a few issues which I need to sort out, and I've got some gaps out on the plot now which I need to fill with other produce, so I'll have a look at what we've got that we can put out there. And apart from that, I don't think there's too much news. The rat problem is still going on, but I'm taking steps to sort of combat that, but it's very slow going, to be perfectly honest with you. And I've noticed a lot of other people on YouTube have been reporting having issues with rats on their allotments and gardens at home. So it's interesting that we're not the only ones suffering. And there's a friend of mine just up the road, he's had problems as well. So I don't know whether it's the climate, the weather, or something going on. I don't know, but there seems to be an increase in rat problems. Interesting. Well, look, I'm going to crack on. I'll take you with me and we'll do a few things on the plot. Well, as you can see, my garlic's dried off nicely. I've noticed that this clove here is sort of split in a funny way. Not sure what's going on there, but I suppose some of it's usable. But most of them are pretty good. They're all dried off nicely. I need to clean them up a bit, and then I'll be stringing them together to go in the shed. We've been using our first early potatoes still. We've got 3 tubs left here. They've been quite nice. They were good size and a good few pounds of potatoes from a few pots. So we're very pleased with the results there. I will be tipping one out shortly, and I'll probably film doing that so you can see the sort of results I'm getting from these pots. I've still got my King Edward main crop potatoes in pots, guys. I've got a couple here, and further back there's some more sitting there. And I want to show you directly behind there because I put a couple of pumpkin plants in there, and we'll get in there and have a look and see what's going on. Well, I'm hoping you can see okay in here, guys, but as I said, I've planted a couple of pumpkin plants in this area next to the fruit cage area, and it's just sort of wedged in between the end of the raspberry hedge and the fruit cage. And I don't know if I can get down and show you, but we've had quite a few flowers in here, most of which are just flower, which I believe is the male. But if you come back over here, this one is actually set. There's a little pumpkin on that one, and this one here has got a little pumpkin behind as well. So we've got at least 2 coming on in here. I can't see much on the other plant at the moment. I'm just lifting it and trying to see what's going on in there. But it's very difficult. It's all green. Everything's cluttered together and I can't really see. But it looks like this plant is the one with some pumpkins on. I'm not sure if you remember, but my King Edward potatoes in tubs were located behind the chicken run here. Well, I've moved them away, I've tidied this little patch of soil, and I've actually planted out 3 chilli plants and a few of my asters around them, just for a bit of colour in the garden. And everything seems to be doing all right. That's all been in the ground for about a week or so now, and the flowers are coming on. And I've noticed that the chilies are starting to show flower, so that's good news. I might consider putting some more chilies outside. They seem to be okay. I wasn't sure if they would be alright in our climate, but they seem to have come on alright. So I might put a few more out on the garden and see how they do as well. Well, most of that lettuce that was left here has all run on to seed now, guys. I was thinking I might save some of the seed to use again. But in the meantime, it all looks a bit messy and a bit untidy. But some of these leaves on here we're still taking off and using. They're not going to waste. They just look a little bit unsightly. If you look behind the lettuce, there's some beetroot, and some of those I notice have also come onto seed. So we need to be sorting that out, I think. We will be using some today for our dinner, but I'm also looking at preparing some for pickling, putting into vinegar and storing in the cupboard. So when I come to do that, we'll have a look at what we do to prepare the beetroots for pickling for winter use. The shallots are about ready for harvest now. I will be lifting these today and separating them and letting them out in the sun to dry off. I need to dry them a bit, and then we'll be preparing those again for pickling and storing those in jars with vinegar to have later in the year and during the winter. I've got various recipes that people have given me for pickled onions. Some are using chilies and some are just standard vinegar. So we tend to use different sort of spices with them to get different flavours, and also the heat factor, the chili heat as well. So a good spicy pickled onion with your bread and cheese on a winter's evening is something pleasant to enjoy. I still haven't had a chance to use these slabs. I am fully intending to use them to relay the path in front of the chicken house, chicken coop. But that's not the reason I'm stood here. The reason is these beans. I am really pleased with how these beans have climbed up this mesh wall that I've created. And they're getting up beyond the window now. If you look up there, they're getting up past the window. They're approaching the top of the last piece of mesh and romping away towards the edge of the roof of the shed. So we're actually looking forward to see what sort of a crop we get from these. They're doing really, really well. We have to keep watering them. I do put a little bit of feed in the water, just a liquid additive, and make sure they get fed well. They are only in pots there, if you remember. They're in containers, but looking really, really good at the moment. I'm really pleased with these results. The cabbages, the swede and the calabrese are filling this space quite well. The cabbages actually have pushed the plastic mesh, the netting, away from the sides that I had held down to keep the butterflies out, and unfortunately I've noticed a few cabbage white butterflies have actually managed to get in to this area, and I have been removing a few egg deposits, the little cluster of yellow eggs on the leaves. I don't want them turning into caterpillars and munching on my crops, so the ones I've spotted I've removed. But the calabrese, disappointing that it's all run to seed. We haven't had any decent heads of calabrese, the broccoli heads, none at all. I think that's down to the weather. So I'm looking at sowing some more actually, and bringing them on and putting them out for more sort of like winter broccoli, winter calabrese. So I'll see how that goes, and again, whatever I'm up to, I'll let you know and I'll show you what I'm doing. There's still some more rhubarb left in the corner, just down here behind the sweet peas. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's still some rhubarb left in there, and that's going to be destined for a crumble or a pie at some point, I think. I did make my rhubarb wine, if you watched previous videos, and that's an ongoing project at the moment. That's still in a bucket waiting to be decanted into a demijohn. Yeah, so that's about it for now, guys. I've got a few spaces back over the other side of the plot, so I'll go back over there and discuss what I'm thinking of doing there with you. Well, I've got this area of soil here, which is vacant, and I'm looking at what to plant out. Now, I was thinking of putting some radishes in, a row or two of radishes. We haven't got any radishes left now. It might be a bit late, but if I put a small amount of radish in, that might be a good idea. I've got some more chard in a tray, so I might want to put some more chard in here as well. And I was also considering sowing a few more lettuce. But what I wanted to point out was, I told you before, this soil underneath has been really heavy clay, and it's taken an awful lot of compost and humus and all sorts of things. I put all manner of stuff in this ground to try and break it down a bit and make it more, I think the term is friable, for preparing and growing my crops. But every now and again I keep getting these big lumps of clay come up, and they're absolutely rock hard. I do remove them, some I try and break up, I crumble them down, but they keep coming up, these lumps of clay, which are a bit irritating. But as you can see, where I've lifted the garlic, I've pulled some up with the garlic. So ongoing, trying to prepare the soil, but I might put some more things in here soon. Well, I said we were going to tip out one of these potato pots, guys. I have no idea what's going to be in here. As you can see, the helm's all died back now. We've had a sort of mixed success with these. Some have been better than others. If I get it out of the pot, let's have a look and see what's in here. Well, that's not too bad. They're reasonable. There's nothing wrong with these. These would be nice with our dinner today. I don't think we're getting much more, guys. That would appear to be it. Now this compost here is still quite good, but what I've been doing is I've been using this to help improve the vegetable plot. So as I empty these, I've actually been working this around the areas that I need to on the plot. So it's all helping to improve the soil, which, as you've seen earlier, is quite heavy, quite lumpy clay type soil. Well, there's nothing else in there, guys, so I've just got a small handful of potatoes there, but with some other veg on the dinner plate today, that's going to be fine. Well, thanks for popping in again, guys. It's nice seeing you, and it's been a quick tour today, but I needed to have a quick look around and sort out what I'm going to be doing here, and identify a few tasks that need to be taken care of. Well, I'm going to crack on and do a few things. I'm going to be pulling some veg for my dinner, and be nice to have you come back soon. So whatever you're doing, you stay safe, you be happy, and come back and see us soon. Bye bye now.